Below is a complete narration-style script written exactly as requested. Plain paragraphs, no asterisks, no formatting symbols, no stage directions, no footnotes. Everything is part of the spoken story. It includes a powerful hook with a subscribe request, 3 episodes, disturbing twists, and a closing audience question for a USA-based audience. The message appeared on my phone at 2:11 a.m. It was short. It said, "I know what you did last summer." The terrifying part wasn't the message. It was the profile picture. Because it was my face. Same smile, same background, same scar on my chin. Before you hear these stories, understand this. Every single one of them is real, every identity was fake, and every victim thought they were in control, until they weren't. If you want more true disturbing stories like these, make sure you subscribe now, because once you hear how these end, you'll realize anyone online could be lying. Episode 1. The first story begins in Ohio with a 19-year-old college student named Marcus. Marcus was lonely, not in a dramatic way, just the quiet kind that creeps in when you move away from home for the first time. He spent most nights scrolling through social media, swiping, liking, commenting, hoping someone would notice him. That's when he matched with a girl named Emily. Her profile showed a soft smile, messy brown hair, and captions about loving old movies and late-night conversations. They clicked instantly. Emily replied fast, laughed at his jokes, and remembered small details Marcus himself forgot he'd shared. After 2 weeks, Emily suggested they move their chats to private messages. She said she didn't like public platforms. Marcus didn't question it. Over the next month, Emily became his routine. Good morning texts, voice notes at night. She said she was shy about video calls, claiming anxiety and a past relationship that made her cautious. Marcus respected that. He felt chosen, special. Then Emily started asking questions. Not normal questions. She wanted to know Marcus's class schedule, his roommate's name, the layout of his apartment. She framed it as curiosity. He told her everything. One night, Emily sent him a photo. It was a screenshot of his own bedroom, taken from outside his window. Marcus froze. He texted immediately, asking what it was. Emily replied with a laughing emoji and said, "Relax, just proving I'm real." He told himself it was a joke, maybe someone messing with him. But the next message erased all doubt. Emily sent a photo of Marcus asleep, taken from inside the room. Marcus called the police. They traced the account. It wasn't a girl. It was a 42-year-old man who had been watching Marcus for weeks, using information Marcus willingly shared to gain access to the building. He'd posed as Emily on dozens of accounts before. Marcus later learned he was chosen randomly. The man said in his confession that pretending to be loved made people careless. Marcus dropped out of college that semester. He still sleeps with the lights on. The second story takes place in Arizona and begins with a divorced mother of 2 named Rachel. Rachel wasn't looking for love. She was looking for adult conversation. Her nights were quiet once her kids were asleep. She joined an online support group for single parents. That's where she met Daniel. Daniel said he was a widowed firefighter who worked long shifts. He spoke gently. He never rushed things. He listened. For 3 months, Daniel never missed a day. He sent photos of his meals, his dog, sunsets from his supposed fire station. He never asked for money. He never crossed boundaries. Rachel trusted him. Then one night, Rachel's daughter woke up screaming. She said a man was standing outside her window. Rachel checked. No one was there. She blamed nightmares. The next morning, Daniel messaged her. He asked if her daughter slept better. Rachel never told him about the nightmare. Fear crawled in slowly. Rachel tested him, mentioning a fake school event. The next day, Daniel referenced it casually. She checked her house cameras. Someone had been circling her block at night for weeks. Rachel confronted him. Daniel didn't deny it. He sent her photos of her kids at the playground. He said he needed to feel close to someone again. He said he never planned to hurt them. Police later discovered Daniel wasn't widowed. He'd been stalking single mothers through support groups for years. Rachel moved states. Her kids don't know why. The final story is the most disturbing. It happened in California and involves a group of friends, not just one victim. A popular gaming streamer named Alex built a tight-knit online community. They played nightly, shared personal struggles, supported each other. One member, known as Luna, was especially loved. She claimed to be a disabled teen who couldn't leave her home. The group raised money for her medical bills. Alex spoke to her daily. After nearly a year, Luna stopped responding. Her account went silent. Alex worried. He traced the donations. They led to multiple accounts, all connected to one person. A middle-aged woman with no disability, no illness, and no remorse. But the twist came when police investigated further. They found Luna wasn't just one fake identity. She was dozens. Some were victims. Some were perpetrators. She had manipulated people into hurting each other, exposing secrets, sabotaging lives, all while hiding behind fake faces. When confronted, she said something chilling. She said people online don't want truth. They want connection. And she gave them exactly what they wanted. Alex shut down his channel. He still receives messages from fake accounts claiming to be Luna. These weren't stories about technology. They were stories about trust. About how easily a stranger can become someone you depend on, and how quickly that illusion can turn into a nightmare. If this video made you uneasy, that's the point. Because the scariest part of catfishing isn't the lie. It's how much of yourself you give away before you realize it. Before you go, tell me in the comments which part of the country you're watching from. And remember, the next message you receive might not be from who you think it is. The first story begins in Ohio, in a quiet college town where nothing truly frightening was ever supposed to happen. Marcus was 19 years old, freshly moved out of his parents' house, living in a small off-campus apartment that still smelled faintly of cleaning chemicals and old carpet. He was the kind of person people rarely noticed in a crowd. Polite, soft-spoken, always holding the door open, always the one listening instead of talking. College was supposed to be a fresh start, but instead, the loneliness followed him there like a shadow. Most nights, Marcus lay on his bed scrolling through his phone, listening to the distant sound of traffic and laughter drifting in from nearby apartments. That was when he matched with Emily. Her profile seemed ordinary in the best way. No flashy photos, no forced poses, just a girl sitting on a porch with a coffee mug, smiling like she hadn't planned the picture at all. Her bio mentioned old movies, rainy weather, and bad jokes. Marcus sent a simple hello. She replied within minutes. From the very beginning, the conversation felt effortless. Emily asked questions that made Marcus feel interesting. She laughed at things he thought were dumb. She remembered details like his favorite childhood movie and the name of his dog back home. After a few days, Marcus noticed he was checking his phone constantly, waiting for her replies. When she suggested moving their conversation to private messages, he didn't hesitate. It felt like progress, like being chosen. Weeks passed, and Emily became part of Marcus's routine. She texted him good morning before his alarm went off. She sent voice messages late at night when he couldn't sleep. Her voice was soft, almost hesitant, like she was nervous to be heard. When Marcus asked about video calls, Emily apologized and explained that she struggled with anxiety and didn't feel comfortable being on camera. She said she'd been hurt before. Marcus told her it was okay. He didn't want to push her away. Slowly, Emily's questions became more personal. She asked about his classes, his work schedule, his roommate. She wanted to know which window in his apartment was his, joking that she liked to imagine where he was sitting when they talked. Marcus laughed it off and told her. It didn't feel dangerous. It felt intimate. One night, close to midnight, Marcus received a message from Emily that was different from all the others. It was a photo. At first, he didn't understand what he was looking at. Then his stomach dropped. It was his bedroom. The angle was wrong, though. Too far back, taken from outside the building, through the thin gap in the curtains. Marcus typed quickly, asking where she got the picture. Emily replied with a laughing emoji and said she just wanted to prove she was real. Marcus told himself it was a prank, maybe an old photo somehow pulled from social media. But before he could convince himself fully, another message came in. Another photo. This one showed him asleep in his bed, taken from inside the room. His hands started shaking. Marcus jumped up, turned on every light, and checked the locks. Nothing was disturbed. No broken windows. No signs of entry. He called Emily. The call went through, but no one answered. Instead, she sent a message saying, "Don't freak out. I just wanted to see you in real life." Marcus called the police. While waiting, he sat on the edge of his bed, staring at his phone as messages kept coming in. Emily said she liked watching him because he seemed genuine. She said most people were boring, but Marcus wasn't. When the police arrived, they told him to stop responding. The investigation moved faster than Marcus expected. The account was traced. The messages weren't coming from a girl his age. They were coming from a 42-year-old man who lived less than 3 miles away. He had been watching Marcus for weeks, using the information Marcus shared to learn his habits, his schedule, and when he'd be alone. He'd followed him from campus more than once. The building had a faulty side door lock. That's how he got in. During questioning, the man admitted he'd created dozens of fake profiles. Some male, some female, he said, pretending to be someone who cared made people open up faster. He said trust was easier to steal than passwords. Marcus wasn't special, he was convenient. When the case was over, Marcus tried to go back to normal. But normal didn't exist anymore. Every notification made his heart race. Every unfamiliar face felt like a threat. He dropped his classes and moved back home without telling most people why. At night, he still checks his windows before sleeping. Sometimes he dreams of his phone lighting up with Emily's name, even though that account no longer exists. The scariest part wasn't that someone watched him. It was realizing how willingly he'd invited them into his life, one message at a time. The second story takes place in a quiet suburban neighborhood outside Phoenix, Arizona, where the streets were wide, the houses looked identical, and danger was something people believed only happened elsewhere. Rachel lived there with her 2 children, a 10-year-old daughter named Lily and a 7-year-old son named Noah. After her divorce, Rachel's world had shrunk. Her days were loud and busy, but her nights were silent. Once the kids were asleep, the house felt too big, too empty. Rachel wasn't searching for romance. She told herself that many times. What she wanted was conversation, someone who understood exhaustion, responsibility, and the loneliness that came with being strong for others every single day. She joined an online support group for single parents, mostly reading posts and occasionally commenting. That's where Daniel noticed her. Daniel's first message was thoughtful and simple. He said he related to her post about feeling invisible after the kids went to bed. He said he was a widower, a firefighter who worked long shifts, raising his daughter until she passed away from illness a year earlier. He didn't overshare, he didn't push, he listened. Their conversations became part of Rachel's evenings. Daniel always asked how her kids were doing. He remembered Lily's fear of thunderstorms and Noah's obsession with dinosaurs. He sent photos of his dog curled up on the couch and sunsets taken from what he said was his fire station parking lot. He never asked for money. He never flirted aggressively. That made him feel safe. After 3 months, Rachel trusted him more than she trusted most people in her real life. They talked almost every night. Daniel said he didn't like video calls because his job made him self-conscious. Rachel didn't question it. She respected boundaries. She believed that trust meant patience. The first crack appeared on a Tuesday night when Lily woke up screaming. Rachel ran into her room to find her shaking, pointing at the window. Lily said a man was standing outside, watching her. Rachel checked the backyard, the side yard, the gate. Everything was locked. There was no one there. She told Lily it was a bad dream and stayed with her until she fell asleep again. The next morning, Daniel sent Rachel a message asking if Lily had slept better. Rachel stared at the screen, confused. She hadn't mentioned the nightmare to anyone. She replied carefully, saying Lily was fine. Daniel responded with a heart emoji and said kids could sense bad energy. Rachel felt uneasy for the rest of the day. That night, she reviewed the footage from her door camera. At first, she saw nothing unusual. Then she noticed a man walking slowly past the house, just out of clear view, late at night. The same figure appeared again on footage from the previous week. Always passing by, always lingering. Rachel tested Daniel without letting him know. She told him about a school fundraiser that didn't exist, casually mentioning it in conversation. The next evening, Daniel referenced it, saying he hoped the fundraiser went well. Her chest tightened. She checked the cameras again. The same man had been there that night too. Rachel confronted him. She asked Daniel directly how he knew so much about her life. For a long moment, there was no reply. Then her phone buzzed. Daniel sent her photos. Pictures of Lily and Noah at the playground. Photos of Rachel unloading groceries. A picture taken from across the street, showing her house. Daniel said he never meant to scare her. He said watching her made him feel connected again. He said he just wanted to be close to a family, even if it was from a distance. He promised he would never hurt them. Rachel called the police immediately. The investigation revealed Daniel wasn't a firefighter, wasn't widowed, and never had a daughter. He had been using single-parent support groups to find women with predictable routines and limited outside support. He lived in his car and followed them for months at a time. When officers arrested him, he was parked less than 2 blocks away from Rachel's house. Rachel moved within a month. New city, new school, new locks. She deleted every social media account she had. Her kids were told they were starting a new adventure. Rachel never told them the truth. Even now, years later, Rachel checks the windows before bed. She doesn't talk to strangers online anymore. She learned that sometimes the most dangerous people aren't the ones who rush in, but the ones who wait patiently, pretending to care, until you. The third story didn't begin with loneliness or heartbreak. It began with community. Alex was a 26-year-old gaming streamer living in California who spent most of his time online, not because he lacked friends but because his audience felt like family. His streams ran late into the night, filled with jokes, shared victories, and conversations that went far beyond games. People talked about their jobs, their struggles, their lives. Over time, the chat stopped feeling like strangers and started feeling like a group of people who genuinely cared about one another. Among them was someone known as Luna. Luna claimed to be a 17-year-old girl with a severe disability that kept her confined to her bedroom. She typed slowly and spoke rarely, but when she did, the chat always fell silent. Luna was kind. She supported others when they were struggling. She never made conversations about herself unless asked. Her profile photo showed a pale girl with dark hair and tired eyes, always smiling gently. Alex checked on Luna almost daily. He felt protective of her. When Luna mentioned hospital visits and mounting medical bills, the community stepped in without hesitation. Donations poured in. Messages of encouragement filled the chat. Luna thanked everyone, saying she'd never felt less alone. After nearly a year, Luna disappeared. At first, no one panicked. People assumed she was in the hospital. Days passed. Then weeks. Alex sent messages every day with no response. The community grew anxious. One member suggested trying to trace the donation links to see if they could help in another way. Alex followed the trail. The donations didn't go to a hospital. They went to multiple private accounts, all connected through the same routing information. Alex contacted authorities, believing Luna might be in danger. What they found was worse. Luna was not a teenage girl. She was not disabled. She was not even one person. The identity had been controlled by a middle-aged woman who had created dozens of fake personas across multiple platforms. Some of them interacted with Alex's community directly. Others were designed to influence conversations from the background, agreeing, disagreeing, creating drama, and steering emotions. But the most disturbing part was what the investigation revealed next. Luna wasn't only a fake victim. She was also a fake supporter, a fake critic, and sometimes a fake aggressor. She would provoke arguments using one identity, then comfort people using another. She manipulated members into sharing secrets, then exposed those secrets through different accounts. Friendships were destroyed without anyone understanding why. When police questioned her, she admitted she never expected the community to last that long. She said she enjoyed watching people rely on her. She enjoyed controlling the emotional temperature of the group. She said the donations were just a bonus. Alex shut down his channel immediately. He felt responsible, ashamed, violated. Members of the community scattered, some blaming themselves, others blaming each other. Trust collapsed overnight. Months later, Alex received a message from a new account. It said, "I'm still here." He blocked it. Another appeared. Then another. Different usernames. Same tone. Luna's voice. Authorities warned Alex that once someone builds a web of false identities, they rarely stop. They adapt. Alex still games, but he doesn't stream. He doesn't build communities anymore. Sometimes he scrolls through old messages, wondering how many people he thought he knew were never real. The most terrifying part of this story isn't that one person fooled hundreds. It's that she didn't need to lie well. She only needed to understand what people wanted. Sympathy. Belonging. Someone who listened.